This is what you see when I'm done editing a video, and this is what it looks like before. It's a little different. Now, if I can get really meta and record from here. So here we see my full setup. This is me and the camera. Hello. I use my cell phone as a camera because the video quality on most cell phones is better than a DSLR. This is usually my script. I've got my light set, and yeah. And now let's take you to where the actual magic happens. And then here is the workforce. If you do not have two screens as a teacher, I don't know how you survive. Like, even when I'm grading, I've got my rubric on one screen, the assignment on one screen. Like, I heavily suggest that everybody gets a dual screen setup. But this is more or less where all the magic is. So let's actually start. Let's go through the process from start to end of how these videos end up being made. Every video begins with the course and exam description. I go through the entire unit and I look through all the EKs and I look through all the topics. And in my head, I try to figure out a flow. What's the easiest way to create a narrative that makes this happen? So what I will do is I will look through it. I'll make just a mental note in my head of what topic comes first, second, third. What's the best way to create one cohesive narrative from sometimes the mishmash of topics that are found in the CED. After I look through the course and exam description, everything comes down to writing a script. These scripts are a literal word for word, exactly what I'm going to say, sort of just transcript of the video. Without a script, I tend to ramble. Even if I just do bullet points as a note, I tend to ramble. So I have a word for word script of absolutely everything I'm going to say that ends up being put on my laptop, which I use as a teleprompter while I'm speaking. You may have noticed in the early videos, my eyes tend to wander a lot. That's me looking at the computer. I've gotten better at pretending there is no computer in front of me in the later videos, but it's something I am aware of. Thank you. The next step is my video editing software. So what I do is I import all my files that I'm going to use into the software. I plug in whatever backdrop I want to use, and I plug in my actual video. So a couple of things need to happen first. First things first is I need to get to a part of the video where I can see myself, and then I have to start applying a bunch of effects. So first one I do is a horizontal flip because my camera records backwards. Then I add a crop so I can get rid of all of this stuff that isn't my green screen. And then a key. Keying is getting rid of the background color. So after all that is done, I will go into my effect controls tab. I'm going to go ahead and actually crop out all this other stuff that we don't need. Just get me. After that, we have to get the ultra key. We have to select the color. We go with that. From the setting, we go to aggressive. You could do it manually, but this is easier. And then you get to see your background. So now you get to expand your background throughout the entirety of the video. And then you can go ahead and kind of shape yourself, resize yourself into however you want it to be, wherever you want yourself to be. That's pretty much it. Let's say I want to add text. The way I do the text with all the fancy stuff is I go to one of these essential graphics, and this is the actual one I use. So I just put it here. I can go in there, edit. Thank you, computer. Here, I just go ahead and I add a background so you can actually see what's going on. I do the same with the bottom one, and then you can go ahead and add all this text. Move it around, and then here we have example text, and then this gets you a definition. Yay! If I ever need to find any pictures or anything, I go straight into Google image search, and then I do my best to find graphs and charts that actually have the copyright owner like listed, like source is this. If not, usually I'll add any required attribution into the description in order to avoid any copyright laws. if I need to do any animations, some animations I do right in Adobe Premiere, but when it comes to more complex stuff, I just cheat. That's all PowerPoint. So I just set up images in PowerPoint and I move them around and I set things up. Everything works out just fine. So what I do is I set up a whole bunch of things, and in the transitions tab, I use an effect called morph. And morph actually moves things for you. So when you go to a slideshow and you play it from the beginning, this will kind of allow you to just literally watch the animations happen. So that moves, the sunlight comes in on its own, that moves around, that thing gets moved around. So as far as animations go, everything is done super basic in PowerPoint. This is the next step. So I use a screen recorder called Screencast-O-Matic. Now, the one thing I don't like about Screencast-O-Matic is it does put a watermark on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. That's more or less something that I can crop out later. It's totally free, and I like it. And now here's the part that's going to be hard to hear. To make videos like these, with the green screen and the fancy animations and editing and all that stuff, is about 12 hours per video. So from the planning stages all the way to the final upload, it is just about 12 hours of work. The ones that I do the closer look where I go somewhere, those will take 2 or 3 days to do. So just be aware, if you want to make videos like these, it's a massive time commitment that's pretty much only doable during the summer or during extended breaks. Screencasts are a lot easier to make, and I pop those out in an hour. So while I don't upload them to this channel, I do put them on Google Drive for my students when I do virtual learning. So let's take a look at a screencast process. Screencasts are not done with the big computer, they're actually done with my laptop, and that's because my laptop does this fancy thing where I get to crack it in half, use my stylus, and then I can actually go ahead and draw right on my screen. So this is very useful for screencasts. I do this when I do example math problems that I want to record and post for my students. Let's say here's a Coriolis effect. I get to emphasize what's on the screen, right? The Earth is spinning in this direction, so anything that's moving north from the equator, go ahead and gets deflected to the right. Anything that's moving south from the northern hemisphere towards the equator gets deflected to the left. So we can go ahead and just kind of emphasize what's on the screen, do example math problems, circle, squiggle, do all that stuff. The reason why I like to use Microsoft OneNote is because everything is very customizable. You get to pick exactly what size brush you want, what color brush you want. You can highlight things. So that to me is very useful when I'm making videos for the kids. And then of course, I always have a little secret. I like to always include little funny parts in my videos. So here we see, these are little Easter eggs. Top secret answers to new AP bird watching. And then of course, Elon Musk's compiled brain. That's for the kids who pay attention. There's always something funny in there for the kids who are paying attention.